Hey guys, what's up? My name is MrSpookyPanda, and today, guys, I think I'm going to be doing a new sort of little series, and it's going to be called Useless Facts. Now, this is basically going to be exactly like it sounds. It's just going to be useless facts. Now, it could range from anything to, well, anything, as long as it's a fact, anything goes. As long as it's a fact, it don't really matter. But anyways, we should probably just get right into the video. So first useless fact, which that means is pretty useless. But if you shrunk Mount Everest to the size of a peanut, you'd actually create a black hole. I don't know if it's weird, but it's true. It's actually a real thing. So if you ever want to create a black hole, just compress Mount Everest to the size of a peanut, and you get a black hole. Next, going off the black hole trend, the point of the black hole which has the strongest pull, or can suck in the most gravity or light, is called the singularity. As soon as you pass the singularity, there's no way to escape a black hole. And I mean, there's no way. I mean, we're just not going to count the fact that we don't have any technology to escape a black hole in general. We're just going to gloss over that. And go back to the fact that even if we did have technology, much made through the singularity and make it past. Oh, no. Yeah. Escape. Going off that as well, even if you do make the singularity, you're already gonna die. But also, with the technology we have now, we can escape a black hole. So as we know the singularity, once you get past it, or you get to it, there's no way to escape. It's impossible. There's nothing you can do. Even with the most high-tech technology, you wouldn't be able to escape. The event horizon is the limiting point to which we can escape from, which light and us as humans, our technology, we cannot escape past the horizons, the singularity. No matter what, no matter how advanced we get, we cannot escape the singularity. But we'll probably be dead by then, so it really doesn't matter. The event horizon, however, is the point of the black hole which we cannot escape with our technology, including light, the speed of light, which isn't really our technology, but it's just, again, useless facts. Yeah, you couldn't, so if you make it past the event horizon at this moment in time, you cannot escape it, no matter what. Next. Once you get close enough to the black hole before your painful death, it'd be possible, using the light and the light bending, it is entirely possible that if you make it past a certain part of the black hole, you'd actually be able to see stuff from behind you. So you'd be able to see a full a full 360 degrees. Now I'm not sure how it's possible, and humans can't fathom what a 360 view would look like all at once. You'd be able to fathom like 360, turn around, you can see stuff, right? But us as humans cannot fathom and begin to comprehend what 360 would look like, in one view. I mean, not like, just like looking at one place, just looking and not turning your head or anything. We cannot fathom in a 360 view without moving. It's impossible. We can't fathom it. Maybe in the future we can, but as of right now, we can only theorize as to what it would look like. We don't have a definite answer, and I don't think we ever will. Unless you want to go into a black hole and you somehow survive it, which in that case... In that case, please be my guest. That would be amazing. But, anyway. Our next little fun fact is that, as we all know, having more chromosomes than you're supposed to is a bad thing. For humans, you know, you get more chromosomes than you Down syndrome. Less chromosomes, still Down syndrome. But what if I told you that in fruits, it's better if they have more or less chromosomes than they're supposed to have? If it has less chromosomes, it's more juicy. It's more, yeah, it has more juice in it, and it's bigger than usual. If it has less chromosomes, however, it's more sweet, it's more bitter, although they're usually not bitter, sorry. They're more sweet and they're more tasteful, except that they're usually smaller. So basically, although us humans lose from although we do not benefit from this, fruits do, and I think that's pretty cool. And a pretty useless fact, so start. Next useless fact. The AK-47 was specifically designed to withstand melee to still work in harsh conditions such as mud. You can drop an AK in the swamp and it will still work. Of course, you'd have to use the you'd have to pull back the hammer a little bit, but it will work eventually. But that's what it was made for. It's made to survive harsh environments such as the swamp, which other guns just didn't do. I got some more facts for you guys, but yeah. Anyway, next fact we got here. The M16 does not have any recoil, or minimizes recoil by using a spring in the stock. Now the spring will, of course, use your arm as a way in order to push itself off, or your shoulder, or however you're using it. It will spring off of your arm, therefore reducing recoil, or even negating it entirely, depending on the situation. Sometimes it won't. It really just depends on the quality of the M16. But yeah, it can negate all forms of recoil. Exact. The MG42. For those of you who play Call of Duty, you know exactly what that weapon is. But beasts to get in zombies. The MG42 was actually known as Hitler's buzzsaw because of how fast the rate of fire was. This was also used as a way to scare Allied forces. To scare the Allied forces into thinking that this weapon was more dangerous than it really was. Although it lacked in accuracy, it made up for it in range in pretty much every other aspect of this weapon. Except, once people figured out the Hitler's buzzsaw, which is an MG42, which you would easily be able to avoid it if you just stayed far away from it, so keep your distance, it became a lot less feared than it was, let's say, beforehand, but, you know, that's for another time. And I thought that fact was pretty useless. Come on. Dude. You know, the common Joe. For me, it was pretty interesting, but you know, whatever. Anyway, next fact: it takes up to 6 weeks for the effects of marijuana to wear off. In other words, it will take 6 weeks, sorry, for drug tests to show that you had not smoked marijuana. So, if you're going for a job interview that will require a drug test, just make sure you smoke it 6 weeks beforehand. Yeah, that's a pretty useless fact, unless you're in driver's ed, which you get tested on that, but whatever. Next fact. Next fact we got going on here is that Uranus and Jupiter are the only planets. No, not Jupiter, sorry. Saturn and Jupiter are the only planets to have a ring. So next fact, Uranus is the only planet with a reversed rotation, meaning it rotates the opposite way of other planets. Going off for Uranus again, it is one of two planets, of course, that has a ring around it, but this ring goes from top to bottom, so it goes from north to south instead of east to west. It's pretty cool. Next fact. I hate taking a pee in public. That's a useless fact, because whatever. I cannot use public stalls unless I can lock the door. Yeah. So if I can't lock it, I don't use it. That's why airport and school bathrooms I don't really use. Next fact. I used to have a lot of catchphrases back in the day, but none are as good as yo mama. If you hear that joke, give someone a slap on the hand, give them a high five, because those jokes, they're still pretty cool. That wasn't useless. That's a fact that you guys should do. If you saw some yo mama jokes, give them a high five, because that's pretty cool. You know what? Let's go on to the next one, because we don't need to talk about this anymore. Next fact. Hitler's birthday was on April 20th, 19 something. I know it's just April 20th. Yeah. Hey Google, when was Hitler's birthday?
Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889.
Okay, April 20th, 1889. Okay. I got the month and the day right. I just didn't know the year. Holy shit. 1889, dude? Oh my god. So when I went to the 1900s, he was 9. No. Yeah, he was 9 years old when it went to the 1900s, which was the start of World War I. And it ended... No, I'm wrong. No. 1915, World War I. 3 years. He would have been... he still would have been underage, I'm pretty sure. No, 1889. Okay, I'm wrong. You know what? In 1890, he would have been 9 years old. Wait. No, he would have been one. Oh, whatever. Fuck that. This fact is dumb anyway. Anyway, next fact. Next fact, Endgame is the only movie that actually has a DLC. Because it's coming back in the theaters with the big scenes and stuff, which you also, again, have to pay for. So it's the first movie with a DLC. Yeah, bet you all didn't know that fact. Bet you consider that. Pull your mind in on it. Fact, you're more likely to win the lottery than you are getting killed by a shark. Going off that, you're more likely to die from a vending machine falling on you than you are winning the lottery. The 4th of July marks the Day of Independence, but the day that the Declaration of Independence was signed was actually July 6th. Whoa. July 1st is Canada Day, by the way. Next. The male expected lifespan in the US as of right now is 78. Well, female life expectancy goes up to 80. Guys, get your affairs in order. We've got 2 less years. What was believed to be the first country or first or the birthplace of humanity, was believed to be in India, which probably explains why it holds 1/3 of the planet's population. Eh. Useless fact, which actually isn't very useless, but it could be. Alright. Listen here. Okay. It's good fact. Neptunium, uranium, californium, plutonium, whatever you got, dolinum, I think is what it's called, francium, einsteinium. All those very reactive and radioactive elements are not the most radioactive. The most radioactive element is polonium, which was used to assassinate somebody, I forget who, back in the old days when they put a flake of it in their food. One flake of polonium is enough to kill somebody, which is why it is not, polonium is not mainstream. In fact, is widely regarded as one of the least used elements in the periodic elements. One new element that was discovered very recently is osmium. I forget what the other one's called, but it is ranked. But it's pretty cool. You guys could go look it up. Osmium. Although I looked it up, thorium is one of the hardest elements to find. And in fact, is the best one at absorbing radiation. So, this is why putting a coating of thorium flakes around a nuclear waste container would be the best option, because it would remove some of the nuclear waste. Other elements in this is copper and iron. They're pretty good at absorbing radiation, which is why our phones are kind of radioactive. Next, you can deflect alpha waves with a simple sheet of paper. You can deflect beta waves with a piece of tinfoil, but you need a bunch of concrete in order to stop gamma waves. Yeah. Take about the next thing. Finish stuff in the sun. That's why we have houses. Although it's not protecting us fully unless you live in a full cement house, which... Dang. How much that cost you? On top of the last fact, cement mixed with iron is actually one of the best ways to keep radiation in a certain contained area. So if I build a circle of concrete mixed with iron, it will keep the radioactive material and the radiation inside of it for a little while until it decays. Although, contrary to popular belief, a half-life is not a term that scientists use to talk about the game half-life. Half-life is a term that basically means when half of the object's radiation goes away. Half-life usually lasts about 10 or 15,000 years. To get rid of all radiation, it would take about 3 million years for a little nuclear waste container. To get rid of all of Earth's radiation, as long as we don't use it anymore, not including natural radiation, such as the sun or any other object. So, talking about nuclear waste radiation, it would take about 100 million years, possibly even a billion. Fun fact, we had uranium salts in our school in a cabinet, in a closet. Yeah, we had uranium salts in a closet. Well, I don't know what our school was thinking, but if we all turned into mutants, you probably know why. The first ever hydrogen bomb was the Tarzan bomb, which was created by the Russians. That's gonna wrap it up for this edition of our Useless Facts. I want to thank you so much for watching. This is a lot. Comment section below, and as always, I will talk to you all later. Bonus fact: once you get into a black hole, once you reach the singularity, or before you reach it, your body will stretch out because your atoms are. This is called spaghettification. basically turn into a big spaghetti noodle. Alright guys, take care. Keep looking at random facts, guys. I salute you all. See y'all later, guys.